I wanted to put a question to you, Matt. We've been talking mostly about the U.S., and I think one of the things we were discussing earlier was let's broaden the picture a bit and think about this market and the opportunities in it outside of the U.S., emerging markets, Europe. How do you see it?
Great, thank you. Now, we do see more opportunities outside of the U.S. In places like Europe and Japan, we see more robust markets for environmental solutions companies. And that's really driven by three factors. Number one is that you see consumer preferences that are further ahead in with this regard, looking for really eco products, looking for understanding what the full life cycle of a product that they're buying is. Number two, you see tighter regulation, whether it's emissions or renewable power mandates, et cetera. And then perhaps most importantly, number three, you see higher energy prices, and that's mostly really a function of tax policy. So while we here in the U.S. have been benefiting from a rapid decline in oil prices, and we've seen that through lower gasoline prices, in much of the rest of the world, you haven't seen much of an impact in places like Europe and Japan, where they have 4 times the price of a gallon of oil that we do here for your car. So that market structure has enabled development of really leaders in a whole variety of different end markets, and we've been able to participate, whether it's through a compressor company in Scandinavia that has the most energy efficient compressors, and electric motors contribute about 45% of electric power consumption. So a modest improvement in your compressor technology can actually have a pretty big impact, broadly speaking. In Japan, again, we know that they're resource constrained from an energy environment standpoint, and certainly post-Fukushima, as they've really shut down their nuclear power generation. They've been very resourceful over time and have developed the most energy efficient products in a wide variety of end markets. So we've invested in an air conditioning company, Daikin, has the most energy efficient air conditioners in the world, and that's really driving demand for their products. And then perhaps increasingly so is we're seeing China, the second largest economy in the world, increasingly invest in environmental solutions. They're aware of the dramatic challenges that they face in terms of the really difficult environment that their population faces, and have been rapidly investing public infrastructure money and developing public infrastructure, whether it's rail, but also investing through corporations. And they really have come to dominate some of these new renewable energy or other energy efficient markets, whether it's solar panel production or LED production. And so I think that they're actively moving and frankly are ahead of the U.S. in a lot of ways in all these different areas. And so whether it's a direct player or a regular corporation, whether it's in the financial services industry or et cetera, all of these companies have sustainability. We've found that they've been further ahead in terms of sustainability, and over the 20 years that Stephen High, my colleague over here, has been engaging with them, have often found that these companies have been integrating sustainability into their overall corporate objectives historically. And so we really think that they're ahead of the curve, and we hope that the U.S. will follow.
Benji, thank you. Any thoughts on that from the fixed income side of the house when you look internationally?
So we're generally just involved in U.S. dollar play, but so in the green bond space, there would be quite a few different supranationals and sovereigns. KfW from Germany, they've definitely done some interesting work. They came out with their $1.5 billion deal that they did back in October, and they kind of took a second step of they wanted to make sure that they use ZSW, I think it was, to look at the effects afterwards and to measure that. So there have been Cicero and Vigio and a couple of these that have started looking before everything starts and kind of looking at how the green bond program is supposed to work, but they actually kind of took this next step to utilize and get something done where they can see what actually happened over that next year or 2 years. So I definitely think on the international side, a lot of these different supranational sovereign foreign agency groups they're obviously quite well advanced, and they're doing a lot more than we are here domestically.
Oh, thanks very much.